Chinese President Xi Jinping is due to arrive in Saudi Arabia this afternoon, as it is his first stop for his first state visits this year. He will then go to Egypt and Iran. Before his departure, President Xi published an article on Saudi newspaper Alriyadh saying the two nations should expand their bilateral trade volume. He also called for the establishment of a China-Saudi energy cooperation community and intensifying pragmatic cooperation in fields such as infrastructure, investment and high technology. He says China appreciates Saudi Arabia joining the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank as a founding member, and that the two will work together to push the China-GCC Free Trade Agreement talks. He also said China is willing to work with Saudi Arabia to promote regional stability and interconnectivity through the One Belt, One Road initiative. The Chinese president vows to beef up people-to-people exchanges of all levels and encouraged Saudis to visit China. Responding to the article, Saudi experts say developing bilateral cooperation will benefit both countries as well as the whole region.
Chinese President Xi Jinping mentioned in his article that Saudi Arabia is the first Arab country he's visiting since took office. It has great significance to Saudi Arabia and indicates that China pays great attention to the ties with Saudi Arabia. And Saudi Arabia will also cherish a good relationship with China. Over the past 12 years, the trade volume between China and Saudi Arabia has exceeded $450 billion, a remarkable figure. And the two sides will deepen cooperation and promote common prosperity in the following years.
China holds strong confidence in politics, economy and military matters. China's efforts in the Middle East display its important role in supporting humanitarianism, as well as its will to ease the regional tensions and crises.
CCTV's Han Peng joins us live from Riyadh for the latest. Han Peng, what's on the agenda for President Xi's visit to Riyadh?
Well, Panina, President Xi Jinping will arrive in Saudi Arabia in just less than one hour, and the country is now having the highest level of reception for President Xi Jinping's arrival, as well as meetings and his visits here in this Saudi Arabian capital of Riyadh. And President Xi Jinping's most important purpose of his visit to the Middle East is still developing bilateral relations with some of the major powers in this region, particularly the economic relations. Saudi Arabia, particularly, is the largest oil trade partner of China, and China is trying to have more cooperation on energy. But that is not just the whole thing. China is also trying to expand cooperation beyond oil industry into other industries, including infrastructure, as well as the new energy, including nuclear energy, as well as the aerospace. That's according to China's newly published Arab policy paper, which is published right before President Xi Jinping's visit to Saudi Arabia. The timing of President Xi Jinping's visit is also giving it a political and diplomatic significance to the region's peace and stability, because Saudi Arabia has run into conflict with Iran, the worst conflict in over a decade. Saudi Arabia executed the Shiite cleric, which prompted angry Iranian protesters to storm the Saudi embassy in Tehran and set it on fire. Saudi Arabia cut ties with Iran, and China. President Xi Jinping is the very first head of state to visit both countries in his Middle East tour after the tension broke out. So the world is watching closely how President Xi Jinping will strike a delicate balance between the two feuding giants in the Middle East.
So what are both sides hoping to gain from this visit?
Well, the most important is still the economy. Saudi Arabia is now facing economic difficulties because the oil price has been continue to decline from around $110 per barrel in 2014 to just around $30 per barrel. So Saudi Arabia is now facing some difficulty on that. It is also facing the largest budget deficit in history. So because of all these economic difficulties, Chinese President Xi Jinping's visit is seen as a sign which is possible to give a much needed boost to the region's economic development. And the economic cooperations between Saudi Arabia and China is actually mutually beneficial, because President Xi Jinping has raised the Belt and Road Initiative in 2013, and which is connecting China's central and western regions with the European countries, and Saudi Arabia as well as the Middle Eastern countries as a whole is a major juncture of that connection, and China is trying to have more cooperation with Saudi Arabia to build up that ambitious dream.
All right, Han Peng, live for us there in Riyadh. Many thanks.